more performance, more possibilities.
Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series, brought to you by Newegg, Western Digital, Crucial, and Cooler Master. Our next match is going to be a fun one because it's with two deck builders who I have a lot of fun watching and even talking to. It's Brian Kibler. Excuse me, I'm a sludge belcher at the moment. It's Brian Kibler versus Darkwonyx.
Yeah,
excuse me.
yeah, it should be a great matchup. Kibler's always
I had a sip of water before I came on to back on the camera.
never that great of an idea, but we
My
got a long
apologies.
day ahead of us. We got to stay hydrated. Yeah, Kibler's always a fun guy to watch. We've seen him a few times over the past couple weeks. He actually took top 2 in one of our weeks a few weeks ago. Again, like I said, he was invited for last week but couldn't make it, so we're putting him today in place of Dog, who invited last week but couldn't make it. So just a little bit of swap around.
Right. I mean, Kibler actually rightfully got top 2 in a previous week, so he's just rightfully claiming a spot that he had. And he's going to take it up against Darkwonyx, who's been quiet for a long time. I think Darkwonyx has always had middle-of-the-road results. He peaked at Season 1 with Control Warrior, like back in the day. That was his thing, too. He was also a guy that was trying to build Warrior in his own specific way. And people don't really see Darkwonyx very often, but when he does, he always impresses a lot of the other pro players. They think Darkwonyx is one of the very few players who makes the minimal amount of mistakes. Darkwonyx's biggest weakness is that his decks aren't always the most fleshed out. They're wild. They're crazy. They have some interesting ideas how they're supposed to work. I think one of them at DreamHack was like, he threw in Baron Geddon into Druid.
Yes.
It was like, how does that even work? Doesn't that kill like your own haunted creepers or something? And he's like, no, man, it works. Trust me. And like, I don't know, it didn't necessarily work that well, but he's got wild ideas like that. And yet he's always peaking at the top of Legend. I think he's ranked like 3 right now.
Well, it also makes him really fun to watch, too. And in those best-case scenarios or whatever, even not in the best-case scenarios, but in the good scenarios where these crazy decks come into play, sometimes everything clicks and it works. So we'll take a look at these lineups right now. Kibler, of course, bringing the Priest and then rounding off with Druid and Mage, and Darkwonyx, Paladin, Warrior, Warlock. So these are 3 out of the 4 decks that you said were going to be really powerful.
That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. 6 different classes.
Wow.
No Hunter, no Rogue, and no Shaman. Ripping pepperonis, but we'll settle with this. We have Paladin versus Priest. Another matchup which I would feel like if Versus decks came out for Hearthstone, you would do Paladin and Priest. Another really cool matchup, I think, for the very same reasons that Warrior versus Shaman is. And then you have Druid versus Warlock, which is like meh. And then you have Mage versus Warrior, which is like, oh gosh, this could be really bad for either player, because Warrior has those tools to shut down those mech mages very easily.
Yeah, I think it is Mech Mage as well, because Kibler was pretty adamant about playing that Mech Mage earlier on. He was one of the first innovators of that Mech Mage a few weeks ago. Maybe not a few weeks ago, but early on in GVG.
Okay, well, here we go. Darkwonyx from Sweden versus Kibler from good old USA. And Darkwonyx does have a very slow hand. He's going to look for something much better than that. While Kibler does have a pretty easy way to start. You know, how do you deal with this opening hand? Because you see the synergy with Northshire Cleric and Ninja Blade Master, but do you keep the second one or even the Akanai?
If you throw away the Akanai and get a Circle of Healing, you're putting your opponent in a situation where he sort of has to have equality really early on. Because then you throw out Northshire Cleric, Coin, Injured Blade Master, and then Injured Blade Master, Circle of Healing. And he actually decides to throw them both away, so he just doesn't like the card in that matchup. It's unreliable, because if you throw it out on turn 3, then your opponent can usually just Truce over Champion down an Injured Blade Master on turn 4.
True. Fair enough. Now, it's already a big annoyance for Darkwonyx. Like, how do you deal with this Northshire Cleric? Do you silence it so that way it avoids drawing cards, but then you're still tossing away your Ironbeak Owl?
Yeah.
So he just passes.
It's really weird because your hero power sometimes becomes a liability when you see a turn 1 Northshire Cleric, because it's just going to get killed, not really for free, but you're just giving your opponent's cards. So you either have to make the commitment to silence it, or make the commitment to say, well, I'm just not going to hero power until I get an answer to deal with this Northshire Cleric. Muster for Battle is away, but it's still...
I mean, it's Oh gosh, it's still like okay to hold on to because you have North. I mean, you have the True Silver Champion and the Northshire Cleric, but this doesn't feel good by any means. And on the flip side, Brian Kibler doesn't actually have a turn 3 play either, and it's got to be the case where he's got to stop threatening to burn his opponent and then healing him because he can't do that.
You can see Brian Kibler's running the Light Bomb. I really like that card.
Yeah, Brian Kibler's a big fan of this card. He's used it multiple times, saying that he thinks it's like something that it's like a trump card, right? It's like a format-defining card where you're able to finally have the final say.
And also, you look at a lot of Priest's cards, a lot of them have lower attack than health. And you can get in situations where you can end up clearing your opponent's board.
Right.
While still preserving some of your own board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
This game has been a game about making the other opponent uncomfortable as possible. Like, how do you deal with this Arcanine now? It's like
Harrison Jones.
Let me think.
Maybe. Harrison Jones, I guess if you get out of Shadow or Death, you're still pretty happy. You could just True Silver Champion and then muster for battle and hero power.
and that doesn't feel very good either.
I wonder.
Harrison Jones makes the most sense. It's on curve. You're not gonna save Harrison on the off chance that he thought steals like
Thought steals muster for battle.
yeah, or thought steal True Silver Champion. You already hold 2 of them. Not to mention, you're still waiting. You would be waiting for a long time before they mind control Tyrion. So I think this makes the most sense here. But Brian Kibler can easily snipe this. In fact, he can even press his advantage on the board by increasing the health on the Arcanine.
This is pretty nice. And good sequencing there, seeing what you get first.
Yep. Vol'jin's a pretty nasty card. Vol'jin plus the Arcanine out is like just a guaranteed kill on anything. Unless it has Divine Shield.
Vol'jin, definitely my favorite 5-drop class legendary in this matchup.
As opposed to Bolvar?
Yes. It's a very roundabout way of saying that. I don't like Bolvar.
You're a hater, man.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, Bolvar's, he's got some merit to him. He's got some merit to him.
I was one of those angry people in the Reddit thread. Worst class legendary ever. Blizzard hates paladins.
Worse than King Crush?
Ooh. Well, King Crutch fits. He was really bad, but Web Spinner made him better.
Yeah, I guess so. That's definitely one way to look at it. I think Sludge Belcher here is certainly the play. It doesn't feel very good, considering that you know that your opponent can be able to snipe it. But in the best case scenario, it's like he trades into the first body and uses True Silver. Now, of course, we know that there's a present waiting on the other end of it.
Yes, there is. A nice little gift. But you know in this situation that he's not going to be able to heal it back up, so you're gonna trade with it in most scenarios. He's just debating on whether or not he wants to attack in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to pass it off here. But I think Vol'jin, or actually even the Shadow Word Pain is fine here too. Shadow Word Pain.
Sludge Belcher is one of the best targets for Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Madness. Especially if you can get into a situation with Shadow Madness where you can actually steal the slime.
Yep.
But this is one better and still preserving that Arcanine, still preserving its 7 health, so this thing is going to do work.
Do you coin out the Cult Master? Suppose so.
Why not? You're forcing him to a situation where if he kills it, then you're just increasing the effectiveness of this Arcanine on the board.
Yeah. Avenging Wrath. Now that's a card we haven't seen in a long time.
Not at all. I haven't seen a mid-range, the new age mid-range Paladin decks with Avenging Wrath in a while. I don't think I've seen it yet since GBG. Maybe some of the first iterations of the deck, but people have been cutting that left and right.
It's a very uncomfortable spot. You have no way for an easy board clear. The silence is not ideal. Peacekeeper doesn't really do much because they'll get sniped easily by hero power. no equality in sight.
Hmm.
So what do you do, TJ? You just do this
no.
and silence the.
Yeah.
I guess you silence the Hawk Knight.
Oh, for some reason I thought he just hovered over Avenging Wrath. I thought he played Avenging
Oh,
Wrath.
Darkwonyx is known for having a very erratic mouse. He just ends up like
Mousing over everything.
yeah, and like clicking out a bunch of stuff and waving it a bunch.
In spectator mode, we can't see his mouse unless he hovers over a card or an
thankfully.
ability.
He might be hesitant to play Muster for Battle because of Holy Nova. Oh boy. It's a hard decision.
Oh no.
And he does end up going for it.
Reporting for duty.
Well, he's basically saying, well, if you don't have Holy Nova, then the risk of me having a Quartermaster is really too much for you to handle.
Well, he does have the Holy Nova, and he is going to draw cards. I feel like that's going to be the case here. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I wonder.
The Light's Justice doesn't even challenge anything on the board anymore. Almost as good as it gets for Brian Kibler. Just one more time doing the permutations of like what else could be considered, but this is by far the best play.
Getting rid of the entire value of Muster for Battle, and you said it, the Lich Justice isn't really going to do much, especially in this matchup, because you don't want to start chipping away at things with a Northshire Cleric on the board, just because you're giving him free card draw.
Well, and equality does come into hand for Darkwonyx, which might encourage him to play a little bit more defensively, right?
Yeah.
Now he has like a reason to lay on hands, because the more the board builds up, he can equality Consecration or equality Avenging Wrath. Even if he's not under big threat, he can equality smack the weapon too.
His hand just got a whole lot better.
A lot better, yep. And then on the meantime, Brian Kibler actually doesn't have anything to do other than pass. Just put on some light pressure here. So effectively, that lay on hands was such a good play because he didn't lose that much tempo at all. His opponent floated 6 mana.
It's a lot of times as a priest, you can get into a position where it's sort of hard to press an advantage. Like even if you have perfect turns early on where you're able to clear the board or get really efficient trades or really efficient use out of your minions, you can still find yourself in a position where just every single card in your hand is situational. Because so many of their cards are reactive and situational.
Sylvanas is an interesting play if you choose to go for her. I was expecting Sludge Belcher and start leveraging your hero power a little bit more. But it makes sense, granted, that he can heal and start drawing cards. So you want to place a minion that immediately challenges. And not to mention, none of these minions can even kill off Sylvanas.
Yeah, you can't even trade into it to kill it off, so.
Yeah, so at face value, it's like, what is this? And it's like, oh, okay, well, actually, that's pretty clever.
Well, now he can either,
I must consider.
oh no, I don't even know, Sludge Belcher and just ignore it for the time being.
Sylvanas is actually such a big deal right here.
Can't Shadow or Death because he doesn't want to give up either of these minions. Northshire Cleric wouldn't be too bad in the long run, but he wants to get at least a little bit more value out of this thing.
Uh-oh, ignoring Sylvanas. That's always a risk. A risk and a half, if you will.
Very dangerous. What? That's a Darkwonyx card right there.
Okay. A Scarlet Purifier. This card is a 3-mana 4/3 that says deal 2 damage to every single death rattle.
Including your own.
Including your own. So
He can
actually kill his own Sylvanas right now and steal a card.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wait. What? He's thinking about like how he can maximize it too. He can attack with Sylvanas. Like, he doesn't want to steal the slime. He wants to steal this Akanai Soul Priest. Or even, I guess maybe even the Northshire is okay. Just not the slime. But its weapon's too weak.
That's a pretty interesting card. People were saying before GVG was released that Scarlet Purifier.
Oh, wait. What if you Scarlet Purifier before you attack in? Because,
Then the Death Rattle would trigger.
right, Sylvanas won't steal anything.
Oh yeah, because Sledge Belcher was played second.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, well this is okay as well to steal. Very cute, very cute. Kibler's like, all right, okay.
Okay,
I'll
I'll take it.
You deserve that one, buddy. Wow, really interesting. And all of a sudden, that's like decent pressure. That if he has Shadow Madness, good for him. But if not, it's pretty significant power on the board.
The Kibler is impressed face. I'm so used to it by now.
Maybe not impressed, but it's like, okay, well, it works. It's more of a good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Consider.
Well, if that's not the most weak Harrison Jones possible to a weapon, a 1/1 Light's Justice. It is actually really annoying because like none of the cards have good value. Like the Cabal Shadow Priest steals a 1/1.
And Vol'jin can't really trade health with either of these things efficiently because he'd basically just be gaining 1 health.
Let me
Yeah.
change your
So
mind.
I think the Cabal Shadow Priest, even though you're only taking 1/1, at least you're not just putting it down on an empty board.
It exhausted Light's Justice, and now he has a legitimate way to deal with Tyrion. Just Shadow or Death, and then Harrison Jones.
That's a great point. You sort of want to hold on to that Harrison Jones for that off chance, unless you have a separate way to deal with it, like a Iron Beak Owl in your hand or something.
I mean, now he can kill off the Cabal Shadow Priest. This is why I love watching Darkwonyx, man. Just because he's always willing to test these wonky things and throw it in, and really just challenge like the metagame at its core. He told me he had a few surprises in for viewers today, before his matches.
Well, maybe the Scarlet Purifier is one of them.
Well, it definitely was. I was not anticipating. It is one of the cooler arts too of the new GVG.
I agree.
It's like, well, if Overwatch is in Hearthstone, I think that's the closest thing we have to
Yeah.
it.
Let me think.
Don't you think?
I think
It's
so.
like I would definitely think a Scarlet Purifier was like a Overwatch card.
Will there
Fan art.
will there eventually be a Overwatch expansion for her? No, because
No.
it's WoW themed. It's
That's-
called Hearthstone.
But people will create it on the fan sites,
That's true.
and I will give them a view. And I will upvote it because I think it's cool.
I've checked out some of the Diablo ones.
Yeah, and the StarCraft ones as
Yep.
well. Good stuff. Is it a Light Bomb time? I don't know. His opponent's holding so many cards. Light Bomb doesn't really feel that great, but it is a lot of power on the board too. It's 7, 10, 11 power on board. That's a third of your health. You do have 2 Light Bombs. Sylvanas is also like a way to pseudo Light Bomb and impact the board.
You're forcing your opponent to make some tough decisions the next turn if you Sylvanas.
It's true. Then there's no way for him to trade everything in anyways.
Light Bomb's just a reset
I
button.
must consider.
Question is, what are you going to heal? Are you going to heal his 1/1 or his 3/3 or yourself? Nothing.
No.
Oh, Kibler.
Well, Karin is also an interesting card. I like putting Karin in Paladin because it sort of
Not
fits-
right now in the board, you mean, but just in
Oh
general.
no, in general in the
Okay.
deck.
Me
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
It's very sticky, which sort of fits the theme of just really strong mid-game boards. Lots of pressure.
Yeah, it's Karin is one of the more underrated legendaries at the moment. It's just he's one of the highest value you can ever get for its mana cost.
Yep.
But the problem is his low impact. Like Black Knight has great impact on because there's so many Sludge Belchers. Sylvanas, of course, you can't play around her that much without silence or some polymorph effect. Karin is like it's a minion that you can just sometimes rush past and kill your opponent despite the fact that he has it.
And decks that it was a lot of times put in when GVG got cards that sort of flooded that 5 to 6 mana range. Like Warriors got Shield Maiden, so they had to find ways to sort of trim out some of their 6 drops. And even Paladins, Quartermaster kind of doesn't really compete with it that much, but it can kind of interfere with that spot.
Well, now it's like a interesting light bomb scenario because you do actually steal the
Sludge Belcher.
Sludge Belcher.
I like that.
You light bomb and then you steal it, and then you can heal it up even.
I wonder.
You can heal up your Sludge, because Sludge will deal 2 damage to itself, so
Yeah.
you heal back to the 3/4.
Seems like a fantastic play to me.
Yeah, it's actually pretty strong. I haven't seen Light Bomb used too often, but this is a card that definitely needs more attention. And Brian Kibler putting Darkwonyx on notice, like, look, this is a realistic threat that you have to deal with. But the good news is that Darkwonyx has paced himself so well. Look at his card count. It's actually higher than Priest.
And they're not just like situational reactive cards. They're cards that can still, even on an empty board, you can just throw them down and be confident that they're gonna do work. He's still got a muster for battle left somewhere in his deck, so Quartermaster is fantastic in that situation. Hawkeye Soul Priest is sort of the bane of that, but
Do you think if Karen gets placed down, he'll get mind controlled? Because Priest doesn't have the Shrink Meister combination. And then I guess, are you worried about that as Darkwonyx, the Shrink Meister Cabal Shadow Priest?
you have to be a little bit. But also, you've seen one Cabal Shadow Priest.
That's true. It's
And
unlikely.
I think you mind control because you have the way to deal with Tyrion. And what other giant threats is he going to put down? Mind controlling a Dr. Boom.
Okay.
It's okay,
Somewhat like Karen, just in terms of the stat distribution.
but you're not really taking all the efficiency from the Dr. Boom. You're only taking the body of the Dr. Boom. You're not really taking away the boom bots.
Sure, that also makes sense.
Just take it.
I must
It's very tempting. Although he does have alternative plays too. If he switches health with Karen, he can heal up his Sludge Belcher, attack and kill off the first body, play his Injured Blade Master, and then Circle of Healing.
That'd be pretty
That's
good.
a full 10 mana play. You have a 6/5, a 3/5, and a 4/7 versus a 4/5, 4/1, and a 1/1. That's pretty effective, I think. Just because then you force out an inequality from your opponent. Mind control is much better though. Like it's just like rather than complicating everything, it seems to be the best way to deal with it.
You're using a lot of cards in that situation, and you're
Right.
especially when you,
Overextending into equality.
yeah, especially when you don't have card advantage.
Yeah.
You know that your opponent's going to have the equality,
It's a
and
good
you know that
point.
he's going to have follow-ups after the equality as well. And you just sort of,
I'm actually already really enjoying this match.
Yeah.
Because
Let me.
it's definitely something that we haven't seen very often.
Not
but
at all.
Also because these guys are really thinking as deep as they can.
they need to go deeper. They need to think deeper. And we're seeing some interesting cards. Well, I guess Scarlet Purifier is the only one. Light Bomb as well.
The Tyrion here is actually a very poor choice. He's going to get overwhelmed very soon if he does that. Everything else feels a little bit weak. Oh, I just realized something you can do with Scarlet Purifier. You can equality Scarlet Purifier.
Oh, wow.
Like, what if you do that on the board?
That's pretty effective. Pretty effective.
I mean, it's okay. It's cute. Because
It's very, very, very...
it doesn't do
very
anything
situational.
because it's still like 4/5 and a 1/2. But just like something that popped in my mind of like ways you can justify putting Scarlet Purifier in your deck.
I must consider.
I guess it's a fantastic turn 3 play against like a Hunter. No, not even. Because it wouldn't even hit an Undertaker.
Oh, the coolest animation in the game. No, actually, the second most cool because the first one is Twisting Nether.
You don't like Bolvar? That's the one thing I do like about Bolvar as a card.
Bolvar's animation's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting information coming all at once. Okay, Seal of Light.
Wow.
That card has also been played a little bit as anti-aggro measures.
I've seen Seal of Light actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
On ladder especially.
It's a great extension. Halfway between Heroic Strike and halfway between Holy Light.
That it is. Well,
The better way to see it is like a 2-attack, 1-charge weapon that heals you for 4.
Let me think.
So like the opposite of a true silver champion.
I guess in that inversion. Finally, time to bust out equality number 1. This is something that's always in the back of Priest's mind. And partially why, in the end, the Paladin might have the upper end. Because it can always clear Priest's board no matter how strong it gets.
But Darkwonyx's card advantage just sort of disappeared. No longer has that lay on hands to fall back on as well.
Check out this muster for battle plus Seal of Light. Dominate the board. I mean, you laugh, but this is what Priest does. The X factor is those thought steals. Oh, I guess he's gonna leave up the zombie channel.
Okay. Decided to hold on to the seal.
Oh, he wants to play both Injured Blade Masters and Circle of Healing then, right?
He can feel a little bit more comfortable about extending on the board now that he's seen inequality.
Even so, do you know has 2 equalities, so do you heal this, or do you play second Injured Blade Master and Circle?
Well, I thought he played the Seal of Light to make room for more mana, but I guess he's just not really threatened too much by the zombie chow to be able to use that. But or maybe he decided to call an audible halfway through his turn, and originally he was thinking of throwing out both Injured Blade Masters, but then realized that it might not be the best choice. Is it Tyrion time? Or is it double shielded mini-bot time?
Well, yeah, the thing is, if you don't Tyrion, you're not using your mana up efficiently, and it looks like Priest is making a charge back onto the board. And you need to defend your position as best as you can. Oh, he's going to shield mini-bot. Yeah. Still slightly better. I guess it's also like something in the back of your mind is Cabal Shadow Priest eventually will come out.
This Avenging Wrath has felt really underwhelming so far. I haven't even thought of a play at all where he could possibly have used that.
It might be his killing damage.
It could be.
I mean, Priest isn't exactly on the most health in the world. But there is a zombie chow. So.
Well, the shielded mini-bots are still going to be really tough to deal with.
I must consider.
Yeah, it's pretty inconvenient, but for now it's still like just a nuisance and nothing else. Paladin, generally speaking, like Priest, can't burst. So as long as you're sitting in like these teens of health, you're still okay.
I must consider.
It's just all about who can eventually come out on top of the board. Use their cards the most efficiently to wrestle it back. Huh. What is he planning? Pyromancer? Steel Blade?
Yeah, I think it's Pyromancer Steel Blade. You're right.
Okay. Well, this is pretty effective, and he's making really good use of the Seal of Light.
And he's gonna even heal up. That was actually a really well played, thought out turn.
Okay. Well, Dr. Boom in Darkwonyx's deck as well. So he's got some threats, but there's a Shadow of Death win on the other side. But if he uses the Shadow of Death, then he won't have that for the Tyrion, which could be troublesome.
Wow, this actually baits perfectly into Circle of Healing. Like that, isn't that perfect?
Yeah.
The only way you can gamble is to do a little damage beforehand, but this should bounce those things.
Everything survived.
Oh, not bad. That Pyromancer certainly dodged death.
Yes, it did. Which is good, because now he's going to be able to preserve one of these Injured Blade Masters, which ends up being a pretty big deal.
It is.
He still has both cards left in his hand to be able to deal with Tyrion. He's really being patient with these and utilizing the rest of his resources to take out every other card.
Oh, Wombo combo time. This is what Darkwonyx waited his Quartermaster for so long for.
Reporting for duty.
Hello,
Reporting for
buddy.
duty.
That's so much power for those two cards that you're putting on the board.
Shing. That's what I imagine whenever you get the new sword. Shing.
Well, he used the Circle of Healing.
Yeah, unfortunately he did, but it did deal with Dr. Boom. I mean, that's something you can't necessarily anticipate.
Yep.
And I mean, you just had to start chipping away. This is a really back and forth game. Actually, this is very tight. I don't know who's actually going to come out on top, but I think one deciding factor might be the Harrison on the Ashbringer. Whoa! I mean, we do see Boulevard from time to time, but
Drawing it late.
yeah, I'm not sure how much impact it'll be, but I have a feeling it's going to be significant. I think Boulevard's going to actually have a pretty significant impact this game.
We'll see.
Let me
We will see.
You don't think so?
Well, in a close game like this, yes.
It's just a 1-7 right now.
Yeah. But imagine if Darkwonyx was in a situation where he was like against the ropes, and then he draws a Boulevard. The fact that this game is so close.
What if it just becomes a 4-7? Like, so that way it's around all of those things. Well, I guess it doesn't play around Shrinkmeister and the Shadow Priest.
Yeah. It just seems like best. Like everything with Boulevard is like, well, in this awesome case scenario, Boulevard's great. But like you draw him right now.
Well, you can buff him up a little bit by suiciding.
That's true. You can
I think
best case
I
scenario,
think
you
he
make him
might
a
be saying
3/7.
it's Tyrion time.
Yeah. Or Avenging Wrath time.
Nah, it's
Okay.
definitely Tyrion time. He's waited a really long time for this.
reporting for
Oh wait, he's just passing.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. I was expecting to play something, but I think now his plan might be to bait out Shadow Word Death beforehand.
Or try and make, yeah, with Boulevard.
Yeah, and then wait long enough for that Boulevard can have impact, because this will be a 4-7 next turn.
Yes, it will.
Does he have enough time?
That
Ooh,
is pretty good.
that feels so tempting.
Equality, smack it, Boulevard.
Wait, he waited for Tyrion the previous turn.
Why?
Did the previous turn change his opinion?
I don't know. Why? Nothing really happened that turn.
Well, his opponent buffed it up.
Well, he's got the answers to this. How many cards are left in these guys' decks?
Can't be that many, but this is still a high impact swing because you shut down the Ashbringer. Because that belongs in a museum.
belongs in a museum.
And Darkwonyx is not happy to see that. Brian Kibler's officially out of cards.
Well, this is what he has to deal with for the rest of the game. Thought Steal's pretty good, though.
I mean, Darkwonyx does have the final say with equality.
Well,
Well, that was a very surprising moment for all of us. We were taken aback by the gravity of the situation, but like that was a really intense moment. It's like he decked out, but Darkwonyx has equality and Avenging Wrath. And one thing that we have to pay attention to is that PCs do idle in their time, so we have to make sure to activate that mouse once in a while.
yes, we do.
Priest is at a very low HP.
Wow,
Both of these guys are.
And Boulevard's starting to build up.
Telling you, dude. I mean, Kibler's starting to take fatigue damage.
Maybe I've underestimated the Boulevard.
I mean, he just needs to have one of these minions stick.
What did he steal?
Oh, Seal Light's pretty clutch. It's another heal. This one can go down to the wire.
And there's 2 cards left in Darkwonyx's deck.
I mean, is it time? How long can he hold on to those? I think Boulevard has to get dropped here. Doesn't it? You need a way to kill off your opponent without dying first. Your opponent might just have, like, he just Thought Stole. So if he has Seal of Light, he might just have 7 damage, and then he might have enough to kill you from that point on if he runs like Holy Light, or he runs anything else. Like, it's something that in the back of your mind you have to be considering. I think it might be time to drop away for you to trump your opponent.
I wonder.
This is tough. This is a really tough moment.
Yes, it
for
is.
both of these guys.
He's got to be thinking, what burst could he have left in this deck? What am I
Oh,
gonna
that
need
was
to do
such
to
a
get
weak
out of range?
Lion's Roar. Do you Seal of Light to kill the 1/1? Or is it damage to the face? Because you know that he's taking fatigue damage. Brian Kibler's got to be on 2 health next turn.
Ooh.
4. Shadow Madness plus that is 3. 5 damage. He's got 9 damage. Darkwonyx will be almost out of cards soon. I don't know. I think Darkwonyx might have this game. Like, you can't actually kill Bolvar.
Well, you can. Wild Pyro.
Oh, you Wild Pyromancer Holy Smite it?
Yeah.
So Wild Pyromancer, Shadow Madness. You're going to kill off your own Pyromancer in the process.
You don't even have to.
I wonder.
You could just Wild Pyro, Holy Smite, and then throw in your Cabal.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
What is he doing? He's just gonna go face?
You're going to race him?
Okay.
Too quickly.
I'm okay with this.
Oh, but he's not anticipating the Quartermaster, right? Oh, he's going to Shadow Madness. Okay. Wait, I actually don't even know what's going to happen. So he's playing the Wild Pyromancer. He's going to Circle of Healing to try to kill it off. I mean, Darkwonyx is almost out of cards too, but True Silver Champion off the top is going to end the game. A very intense fatigue battle back and forth. But Darkwonyx is going to grind it out. And guess who was the big MVP closer of that game? Who gets the save in the stat book?
True Silver Champion.
Bolvar. Bolvar Fort Dragon.
Okay.
Wow.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
But there would be a lot of
when
situations.
I said Bolvar might have a huge impact in this game.
You said that like 2 turns ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember when I said that?
Yeah, I do remember.
That was right before I looked like an idiot on camera for like slouching and getting in the zone to watch the game.
These chairs are really comfy though.
It is. It's really easy to sink back and relax.
Yeah.
So our apologies to those who might be offended by that scene. Well, going into game number 2, we have Druid versus Warlock. That's just the beginning of the series. We're in for a pretty long day.
Yes, we are. 7 best of 5s. If they
We're-
all go to 5 games, we'll be here until Tuesday.
Yep.
But that's what we do for
I mean,
Hearthstone.
realistically, if it goes long enough, it might end by the time the Challenger Cup opens on Sunday.
And then we'll just have an endless loop of Hearthstone action.
Yep. They're gonna have to feed us dinner.
They will. You know what? I'm not so upset about that then.
All right. Works for me. Works for me. All right. Here we go. See what kind of Warlock Darkwonyx is bringing. Is it Zoo or is it going to be the Handlock? We know Brian Kibler probably likes to play that more mid-rangey feel of Druid. And he needs to get back quick because you don't want to go down 2-1 in the series going into the blind pick phase.
Your soul shall be
Imp Lotion.
Whoa. Okay then.
So that means Sea Giant deck?
I
Wait,
think
no.
it does.
He's got Antique Healbot. Is this a Demon Lock deck?
Whoa. If anybody's gonna bring it, it would be Darkwonyx. But we'll have to see from this mulligan, and I think
Yeah,
it is. Wow.
It's definitely demon-centric. He has to have Mal'Ganis in here. And
Huh.
more importantly, he has to have like Void Callers and all those other good stuff.
Wood Callers, perhaps some Doom Guards.
Okay.
Maybe even those card that I'm forgetting the name, the 5/5 that every time your hero takes damage, you
Floating
gains
Watcher.
2/2, Floating Watcher.
That's a fun card too. I love when it just powers up.
I love that. If you can't deal with it right
Yes.
away, sometimes. Whoa.
That's just what it sounds like.
You okay there, buddy? No, it's a
No, I'm
fantastic card.
powering up.
Okay. Good luck with your powering up.
Thank you.
Well,
So this deck really hinge. I was gonna say it hinges on Void Caller, but he's got Mistress of Pain. I mean, I wonder if he has Demon Heart too and Demon Fire, because you power up Mistress of Pain and you just like keep attacking the face and just keep healing for as much as she gets.
it's pretty ridiculous. It's a pretty ridiculous combination.
Like I just want to see Brian Kibler's face when Mistress of Pain comes out.
It's also a pretty flexible card because if you get in a situation where you just can't use it on any of your
Right.
creatures, it turns out to be like a Starfall, a not so flexible Starfall.
Okay. Well, this is already one of my favorite series of the day. Because I'm pretty sure that it won't get too much more creative than these guys. Oh, Hellfire seems to be a clear play on turn 4 here, though. You got Thaunos? What?
Okay, so Kibler has to be thinking in his head, oh, it's
Like Thaunos Implosion.
Kibler is thinking, oh, this is a hand lock. This
Wait.
is just a standard hand lock.
Hold on. If the spell power scales with Implosion, does that mean if it deals more damage because the spell power
You
gets
get
more imps?
imps. Yeah, the card just reads.
So, like, if you-
summon imps for how much damage you do.
I have no idea what's in this deck.
Falcon!
Falcon didn't know how to respond. He's like, what? And
Darkwonyx,
that's gonna kill the shade. What?
Darkwonyx just poker faces right now. Look at him. Not even phased. He's like, yeah, this is my deck. Deal with it.
Oh yeah, he's missing a pair of sunglasses. You're absolutely correct. And,
Wow.
Brian Kibler's like, well,
What do I even do?
this game just got wild. He's
so
pretty pleased with
confused.
himself.
Jeez.
That alone already has one fan. This is why I was excited to see Darkwonyx play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Scarlet Purifier Paladin, Fell Cannon, Blood Mage Thalnos.
So if you put Malygos in your deck, and then say you like get it out somehow,
And then
you
Implosion.
You're gonna get like, well, you
You
can't
won't even have enough room on your
but you
board
would
for all
fill
the
up
imps.
the board with imps.
It's like an Onyxia.
Brian Kibler's just like, this is not anything I've played on ladder, or it's like,
Oh,
it's a very realistic possibility where you hover over the cards just to read what it does to make sure you know what to expect. You're
Vicious
like,
of Pain is
huh.
not something that you see very much.
Twisting Nether!
What is this?
Okay. Darkwonyx is officially trolling the Hearthstone community right now. Because he's also got Voidwalker in here, by the way. That's something that we didn't also point out. It's like, this Demon Lock deck is so fascinating. Aw. Alright, well that Mistress of Pain was wildly anticlimactic.
Oh,
Hey, you remember when I said he likes to play pair and get in random stuff?
throwing it in Demon Lock?
Going so I can kill my own imps after I summon it. It makes total sense.
He just really likes Baron Geddon.
I don't even understand. You know what's really interesting? I wonder if he plays Molten Giants. Because Twisting Nether Molten Giant was a legitimate play in the late stages of the game.
Could
back
be.
in the day.
Yeah. Bringing it back. Bringing it back.
He's like, come on. It does summon 5 imps. Oh, like at this point, it's just become like a wait and see. Like, I don't think Kibler knows how to respond to
Nope.
this at all.
And Darkwonyx is still just straight face. He's saying,
Yeah, well,
playing this like it's a normal game.
it's like one of those things where Darkwonyx might have just said complete this deck after the first 3 cards, and it filled out the rest.
He's like, well, Mal'Ganis, Jaraxxus,
It's
and
like, well, yeah, I'll just auto-complete this deck. It's like, are you sure? Will you have the game or the computer complete it automatically? And Darkwonyx's like, yeah, sure. I have a match to go to.
I want to bring a Warlock, but I don't have time to finish it.
He's got Arcane Golem.
Well, Arcane Golem, Power Overwhelming, Faceless.
Like, I don't know what's going on, but Darkwonyx has a very realistic possibility of killing Brian Kibler the next 2 turns.
Well, if he draws a Power Overwhelming, that's a 16 damage combination that he has.
Oh,
in
you're
his hand.
right.
That's crazy.
Does he have Power Overwhelming?
Wait, no, he kills him next turn regardless
Like,
because he just has
I
Faceless.
need to see more of this Warlock.
Well, it's
deck.
going to get BGH'd.
Well, yeah, that's gonna go without saying. I think Kibler also wants a better response to it too.
Yep. He's going to dig a little bit through his...
Oh, he's got combo.
The beast in my sight. Job done.
Okay, well... We'll see what he draws. Power Overwhelming wins in the game.
Demon Heart. He does have Demon Heart. Demon Heart on like Mistress of Pain, it's actually pretty nasty. Alright, so Implosion,
Make a huge imp.
Well, I mean that's cool.
I think Darkwonyx is all about the cool right now.
I think Implosion and Sludge Belcher are slightly better because you're worried in the back of your mind about what you can do. But
Yeah. I also think that he's got win conditions in his hand already. He just needs to make sure that he's not going to die. But you know what? Darkwonyx is feeling something a little bit different. He just throws out the bear and get it.
why? I just don't understand why. Kibler's like, what is going on?
What is happening? Well, he's very close to.
He's got to kill this off.
Yeah.
It's like it's just such a priority.
I must safeguard the land.
Also, he does have combo, so like this is him pressing for a win. Now, Darkwonyx, of course, he's in tune of what's going on. So much about this deck is like so confusing. He can Implosion, and if it rolls 3 or higher, he can Mortal Coil. Yep, and then he can Sludge Belcher behind this. His opponent can't get through. He's got double Sludge Belcher.
Okay. Well, Darkwonyx, if he is running that Power Overwhelming, is still 1 card away from being able to close out this game. And Kibler is starting to run short on answers. He's actually got 2 piloted Sky Golems in his hand right now.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is that great of a card for trying to gain back board control once you've lost it. It's really sticky, and the 4-mana creature that comes out from that can be tough to remove the entire thing. But at the same time, he's starting to get to dangerous health levels. And actually,
The problem is, what can you play around? I think at this point, it's like he's willing to put in anything. By the way, I think Darkwonyx will kill Kibler if Kibler doesn't Scenarios Tonda.
just Demon Heart and Hellfire.
Right, Demon
would be
Heart,
enough.
Hellfire clears like so much. It does so much damage. Plus, he also has Arcane Golem.
Yeah, he can actually Demon Heart. No, he can't.
Well,
He
you
has
can-
coin as well, so that's
It's 11 mana.
He's gonna have 11 mana to work with.
What? Is he dead? Oh, he's got 15 health. There's 6 on the board. Demon Heart's 5.
He's dead with Arcane Golem and
Oh.
Demon Heart, I think. Wait, so that would be 8, 11 on
No
board plus
way.
5, or plus.
Oh, I think
4.
you're right. No, he's got him.
Arcane Golem.
Golem plus Demon Heart.
Yes.
Kibler's not going to know what's hit him.
Nope.
About to hit him right here.
Nope. He's gonna count it up, but I think he's got it. Because that would be 11 damage from the board, because it'd be a 6/6 imp, plus 4 damage from the Arcane Golem. That's 15.
Yeah, 6, 10, 15. I think he's also figuring out a way to conceal information, because this is like a very powerful deck based off how much information you conceal. Is he BMing? Oh, he's got Power Overwhelming for sure. All right, so I think he's gonna try to conceal some information here.
But what would you want to conceal more? Well, I guess if you're running Arcane Golem,
I'd conceal the Power Overwhelming combo.
not the Demon Heart.
I don't really know at this point. Kibler's dead. That's what I know.
Okay.
And Darkwonyx is gonna take a 2-0 lead, and he's like, "Well, props, man."
Well, and he still conceals the Faceless and the Arcane Golem as well. So he shows the Demon Heart and the Power Overwhelming. So he finds the best way to be able to do that, and a slight smirk crosses Darkwonyx's face as he finishes out that game. Wow.
Kibler faced him.
Wow, that was very impressive. Not only just the play, but Brian Kibler had no idea what was going on there.
And I don't think he played anything like wrong per se. He just
No.
like systematically load the board, and he's like, "All right, I have my combo. All right, you're doing annoying things, but I'm setting up for the combo." And then like Darkwonyx just kills him.
Yeah.
Just like, by the way, I'm the one who actually has a combo and killed you. He had lethal so many times over that turn.
He had like 25 damage that turn.
To anybody that's wondering, the deck list will be made available right after the day. We have an admin that's going to upload it on our website at esl.gg/legendary series. So you can check that all out. Because I know what I'm playing tonight when I hit ladder, as well as the thousands of people watching along. If you weren't encouraged to buy GVG packs before, you definitely should now.
Darkwonyx Warlock. That's going to be big. And, well, Well, I hope we are gonna. Well, we won't necessarily get to see the blind pick matchups. It's possible
if he
and
wins
likely.
here.
It's just a 3-0.
Yeah.
This is most likely Mech Mage coming out from Kibler, and Warrior has a lot of tools to be able to deal with Mech Mage.
For sure. Well, if he wins 3-0 here, I mean, Kibler's out, and Darkwonyx moves on to play against his opponent.
Zalay?
Yeah, and I don't know how much Zalay is paying attention, but he definitely will be very confused and perplexed because you're in such an uncomfortable spot. And you know what? If you win here, you're invited next week because since first place advanced directly in, we take the top 3 finishers, invite them next week to meet 3 other people, and then 2 from the open qualifiers. So Darkwonyx just has to get past this, and he's guaranteed to go into the points.
And then he could bring back some even more crazy decks. Now, the thing about that deck though is how much does the surprise factor play into the success? Once people realize what they need to play around, will it change? We'll have to see
of course,
going
but
forward.
Until then,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I can't load up the board because he's got Twisting Nether.
Yeah, it was like back when Hunters first started to become back into the meta when people started to play Snipe. It's like Snipe was a great addition to the deck until people realized that Hunters were starting to play Snipe, and then you can play around it. But we'll have to see how Darkwonyx Warlock is going to fare throughout the rest of this tournament. But he has to take this game first to move on.
I don't know. He doesn't have Fiery War Axe, like you said, so it's... this is ugly. I don't know if you want to coin out the Armor Smith, but I think you might have to.
Yeah.
Or do you coin out? No, you don't coin out Iron Beak.
No. Iron Begal, the Cogmaster doesn't feel very good. Not at all. It's one mana.
Armor Smith is problematic enough where you feel like you want to deal with it, but this is also one of the best ways you can too. Take advantage of the Cogmaster. But Cogmaster's like Flame Imp, essentially.
Do you like going face there, or would you have traded into the Armorsmith?
Yeah, I think damage is really crucial here. You have more mechs to back it up, so most likely Armorsmith will trade into the Clockwork Gnome, and then you play the Tink Master, or no, you play the Spire Tank, because that's Tink Master Technician's not a mech either.
Spider Tank can be a really tough minion to remove. Warriors usually have the best time of dealing with it just because of Death Spite. I guess Paladins fall into the same category, but if you don't have that early on, it's just so hard to take down. Because even if you have like an Armorsmith on the board or an Acolyte of Pain, you can't even Cruel Taskmaster to remove it. Those 4 health, the 3/4, the vanilla 3/4, people asked for it for a long time.
Mech Warper is cool, but this doesn't fit like the mana curve that well yet.
Not at all.
But you still have an opportunity to play Spire Tank, which should be the strongest minion on the board. The problem is he can Shield Slam it next turn. This is actually a pretty tough set of decisions.
What else would he do in this situation, though?
The alternative?
Reversing switch and
No,
take out the
I think,
Armorsmith?
yeah, you might have to. But Darkwonyx seems to have the right answer here.
Okay. Well, this is a pretty easy play, pretty telegraphed play. And it's going to be on Kibler. He needs to draw into some more mechs here.
Well, he needs like anything that's low cost. Because then you'd be able to swing it. But Pilot Shredder is also pretty effective.
Yes, it is.
It's a slightly upgraded version of...
Oh, well, look at that. Fire War Axe off the top. That's going to help him. What's he going to get from this Piloted Shredder? I think this is going to be a big deal. Whether or not I can challenge the Armorsmith.
That's too bad. It's like a 1-attack minion. There's like so many minions out there that has 2 or more attack, and you just got the Echoing Ooze.
Yeah. Got a creature where half of that creature's effectiveness is its battle cry.
Right.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
This momentum has actually been halted so poorly that, or so strongly that I think Darkwonyx might just run away from this point on. He doesn't have a way to deal with the Tinkertown Technician, but you know, having Brawl is really important too, because the board does end up snowballing.
But what does he do here? Shield block and then try and trade with the Cruel Taskmaster. He doesn't want to brawl this early, does he?
No, I think it's your secret weapon at this point. So, I mean, you want to kill off Mech War. Oh, he's going to brawl? Wow, that is so manly. All right, Tinkertown Technician survives. That's good for Kibler. Very good.
Best case scenario, I would say.
But I was scared of that.
Now he doesn't have any ways to deal with this. I mean, next turn he can throw in the axe and Cruel Taskmaster,
Yeah, that keeps Kibler very much into the game here.
but it's just going to Frostbolt face and preserve both of these creatures. This is really rough. Really rough. He's running out of cards, though, is the thing.
'Cause
And double shield maiden.
well, yeah, he's got some ways to
Oh,
stall.
wow. He's got, before that turn, he had 15
That's a
potential
pretty big
health
draw,
gain.
Too. The Snow Chugger can keep that weapon in check for a long time. I'm sensing another Frostbolt to the face. Mana Ray. That's so funny.
That can be pretty annoying, though.
I don't know if it changes. I don't know if it changes anything because it seems like Shield Maiden would still come out.
I've actually won a game off getting Mana Wraith off of a...
You have? Oh, that ends Mana Wraith into being such a big deal because he just drew Shield Slam. Oh,
See,
man.
it can make awkward situations like this.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's... Yeah. I mean, it affects you too, but of course, by nature, you're running the more aggressive deck, your minions are going to cost less. And if you're running out of cards, you want to make his cards cost more.
Yeah, for sure.
Rather than your
I
own.
don't know about trading in the Tinkertown Technician, but I guess he just wants to get it guaranteed because he doesn't want the damage to... I guess it makes sense too, though. He doesn't want the damage to overkill, so that way he'd be stuck in an awkward zone.
Oh, the Chugga Chugga.
Yeah.
That's so annoying as a warrior.
Yep. Shield block, shield slam though is really helpful here. This is like the one thing. So Kibler is going to be trying to pick up Antonitis from this point to try to get some fireballs, or just get fireball itself.
You get rid of the Chugga Chugga?
Yeah, God, you know you can't even play Armor Smith. This Mana Wraith actually has had some pretty significant impact.
Yeah.
If Darkwonyx doesn't win this game, one, you can look at Brawl, but two, you can definitely look at that Mana Wraith.
I think I would have got rid of the Chugga Chugga in that situation. With the Shield Slam? You're getting rid of more potential damage on the board, but you're going to get frozen every single turn.
I think it's about life or death here. I think you care more about your health count.
I guess that's true.
Like, this Grommash, I'm assuming, is going to hit the Spider Tank. It's like the most power.
I don't
on
know.
board.
I still think Chugga Chugga, you got to get that off eventually. You
I
don't think
know.
making use of your weapons is... There's the Antonitis.
Oh, wow. That's such a big deal. You just drew Antonitis, and he's going to get fireballs
And
now.
he can taunt up one of his other creatures to protect the Antonitis. And still freeze him to make it so he can't even attack with this weapon.
Yep.
Wow.
This is really smart.
Wow. And protects the Chugga Chugga as well. This is looking pretty good. Pretty good for Kibler.
Yeah.
Well, Sledge Belcher's decent, but he's just about dead to rights right here. He can armor up every turn, but it's going to be fireball after fireball after fireball. He won't be able to survive past another turn.
Yeah, the fact, again, he can't armor up Armor Smith and Sludge Belcher simultaneously. Oh, okay, good sequencing, very good sequencing. So you can squeeze in an armor up. Tough navigation, but the fact remains that you still can get more fireballs. Aha!
Aha!
How much damage can you do too if you just push this through? And he's just using fireballs to control the board too. It's just a big deal. You're getting so much card advantage.
I like that, and it's less risky as well, because if you double fireball face, hoping that you're going to be able to kill him next turn, if an Alexstrasza comes out and he's got a Sledge Belcher, Grommash, and an Armor Smith on board, the game. So this is the safe play. The smarter play, I guess, would be a better choice.
Right. You
It's
don't
not
want
even
to
that- it's not even safe, really.
Man, that Armor Smith's coming in pretty clutch too.
It is.
I think killing off the Grow Much is a high priority.
Yeah, you're still preserving the Antonidas.
That top deck, though, seriously. It's such like a big deal that he drew these cards. So Ragnaros comes into the hand, but I don't know if he'll make significant impact. Although, how do you deal with Antonidas now?
I think he's dead.
I think he has to rag.
Rag and armor up.
Well, more
kill.
importantly, you have to rag and kill off the Antonidas.
If Rag misses, he's dead.
Yeah, and we're going to game number 4 to the blind pig phase. This is a roll to potentially stay in the game. Needs to hit that Antonidas, and he's afraid to hit the end turn button because we all know what's going to happen.
Oh,
Here
no.
we go. No!
Well, he stays alive.
Yep.
And this could be the turning point because he doesn't have much left in the tank. Double fireball here. He could take out the Rag, but...
He's got another fireball, I think.
Well, yeah. Does he really want to just put all his hopes and dreams on drawing a second fireball? Drawing
Look,
a
this
fireball
deck is
from his
pretty
deck.
all in at this point.
I guess so. You got to stop playing control now, because even if you go ahead and kill the Rag, you have to ping the Armor Smith first, and he's going to be sitting. Yeah, this is rough. Double fireball face. Hope that you draw into something next turn that's going to win you the game.
Well, I think you Yeti here. The Yeti ping face fireball might be appropriate as well.
Okay.
The Armor Smith can't attack. If you ping him down to 7 health, he'll have 10 health next turn, right? So you can use your Yeti. Like, you have to hope for Ragnaros hits your... You have to hope that he can't heal. You have to hope that Ragnaros hits your own face, and that Yeti can hit his opponent again. So I think this is the play. I don't know about pinging Armor Smith, though. Okay.
Well, I guess that represents a lot of potential armor that he could gain from that situation.
True.
And it would still put him at if he
Like
draws
this.
fireball next turn. Yeah. If he draws fireball next turn, he's still going to be in a situation where he can
Wow.
win the game.
This is still a very realistic possibility, but this is where I was afraid of, too. Like, because you missed a ping to the face, the armor up actually won't kill him. Like, if you armor up, he has fireball. He has to have his second fireball.
Yeah.
Or more specifically, Kibler needs to do 1 more damage, because currently he's 1 damage off lethal.
So I think this next draw is going to... It could determine the game here.
Yeah. It's the right move to kill off the Armor Smith, because of look at how much armor Darkwonyx could have gained.
Yeah.
But
This would have been...
it's still
additional
very
armor.
tight here.
So he has 2 fireballs left in his deck.
Here we go, another important roll. Oh, Rag hits. But will it be a second fireball?
Oh, that's an Annoyotron. That's not
Okay.
what he wants to see.
So Kibler has to hope for second fireball. He has to ping his opponent's face and hope that he draws second fireball, because the opponent will have 13 health, and he can double fireball
And
and
ping.
fire blast. Yes.
But then it'll be the last turn that situation's possible.
Exactly, and this is assuming he won't pick Alex Strauss up in the next turn.
Wow. It seemed like Kibler had such control over the game like 5 turns ago.
Well, it's funny that, Darkwonyx gave him the opening by brawling early.
That's true, yeah. And losing the brawl in the worst way possible.
right.
Well, that Death Bite doesn't change anything because he already had a Death Bite in his hand.
That was probably a useless draw here.
So it's all going to come down to this.
This is the breaking point.
If Kibler needs the second fireball right now, if he gets it, he wins the game.
Right here, fireball, fireball!
Oh! Wow!
Top decking and wrecking.
And Kibler, he's pretty happy about that one.
Darkwonyx is like, that was precisely those 2 cards he needed.
This guy's deck is crazy. All right, well, Kibler is going to take 1 game at least, keeps himself alive. And Darkwonyx, he's still got to win 1 more to make it through.
We've got ourselves quite the series on our hands. Like I said, it was already the first game into the series, and I was like, this is already my favorite series of the day.
Yep.
But taking a look at what's set up here for game number 4, how do you pick a deck against what Darkwonyx's lineup is. I think if you're Kibler, you have to realistically sit yourself down and say, what do I feel most comfortable with, as opposed to like what's the best against this lineup, because you don't know what to expect.
I don't even
The
know.
reality is, he only saw about half the cards of that Warlock deck, and if he busts it out and you're not prepared, then you're just busted. Like, how do you fight against that?
You don't. Knowing Kibler, at least in the last week and in the week that he won, most of the time he went to the blind pick phase. Regardless of the matchup, he went with Priest because he feels comfortable with it. So, Darkwonyx,
To comeback class.
yeah, his is a little up in the air because I just don't know how comfortable he feels with any of his decks. Of course he feels comfortable with them, but which one do you think he likes the most? And it's hard to
I
think.
think he likes his Warlock.
I think he likes the Warlock one the most, but
Yeah.
does he know how well that matches up with
I don't know.
with the other decks? 'Cause
Possibly.
I have no idea.
He said he used like this deck to climb the High Legend or something. Like, again, he said that all the decks he brought today are the decks that he used to climb the High Legend.
Okay.
So he's like rank 3 or 4 when he peaked. And well, we have ourselves quite an interesting set of decks going into game number 4. On the other side, I also know that Darkwonyx is a big Paladin guy. For a while, he's always tried to make Paladin work. Even back in Fight Night, that was something that he valued a lot.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are quickly becoming fans of Darkwonyx because he's already not only taken a series advantage, but he won with those weird decks.
Shaking it up.
His most boring deck ended up losing.
Yeah.
When I say boring, I mean the more standard decks.
So maybe he'll go back, and if he makes it back to next week, if he makes it through this one, he'll just go ahead and X that deck out and bring in something different. We didn't even get to see the Twisting Nether come out. So
No, I was actually talking about that, right? I said the second coolest animation is Vol'jin because the first is Twisting Nether.
well, maybe we'll get to see it. I'm expecting. Well, I'm gonna guess Priest versus Warlock. Are you thinking Priest versus Paladin?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to see more Warlock, of course, but I don't know. I have a strong feeling that as it looks like we're taking a minute to get ready here because I think people have to go to the bathroom and relax for game number 4.
I would have to go to the bathroom after a game like that too.
Well, because that was really intense. I have to imagine that Darkwonyx realizes he has the information advantage. So it's a long day. So maybe you want to conceal the Warlock. You can feel that with Paladin. Paladin's good against Druid. It's good against the Priest. And I don't know how it fares against the Mage, but it feels like it has a reasonable chance, especially with Muster for Battle to stabilize early on. So I think Paladin's a reasonable choice here.
Yeah, I think Paladin has a lot of those like middle of the road stabilization cards that can deal with Mage pretty well. Mage, of course, there's always the chance that they can just blow you out early on by getting like a Mech Warper and just being able to spam the board. And if you get a Chugga Chugga out early too, in that sequence of Mech spam, then that could stop a Paladin in its tracks. You're going to force them to have cards early on, but I think Paladin does have the tools to deal with that. It's going to be tough to say. Kibler always leans towards that Priest, but he might not be comfortable with it, especially since the one game that he played a Priest today, he lost to the Paladin.
Sure.
So it's a toss-up really, and all right, well, we'll have to see. I think we just got word that Darkwonyx is gonna go ahead with the Warlock. Okay.
That's what I just heard too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's pros and cons to this. The pros being the information advantage. The cons being the information advantage. Because the pros of the information advantage is that in this matchup, you're going to do well. The cons being that you're going to have to show more cards in that situation, which if he loses, that's going to make it easier for Kibler to counter his deck in the matchup after that, or it's going to make his opponents later on today a little bit better off in being able to counter that out. So, again, like I said,
I think that's a pretty negligible con. If you want to keep it secret, then just don't play it.
Well, I said earlier that a lot of the times the surprise factor is what makes it so successful, because you don't necessarily know what your opponent's going to play at any time,
Yeah.
and we haven't seen this deck tested enough in competitive format to know whether or not it's going to be successful across the board.
All right, well, Kibler's gone for Priest, and Darkwonyx, well, He's definitely the darling child at the moment because people are really paying attention. Now we get to see how Priest does against a wacky deck like this. I have to imagine Light Bomb is super effective against something to this caliber.
Yes.
I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I don't know who's favored. I don't know who has an advantage. I don't
No
even know who's
idea.
going to win.
No idea. Well, Darkwonyx only needs one more win to move on to the semifinals. Brian Kibler has to come back from a 2-1 deficit and win 2 more. But we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen before, especially in this blind pick phase. Anything can happen. A lot of mind games going on. And I don't think these guys even need mind games because this deck is crazy.
I mean, it's already got the most amount of mind games possible, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Well, it certainly beats your Hobgoblin Warrior
Nothing
deck.
beats my Hobgoblin Warrior.
Everything beats your Hobgoblin
Listen,
Warrior deck.
okay, so Hobgoblin Warrior. What cards that do you already play in Warrior that are great in Warrior that synergize with Hobgoblin? Armorsmith,
Acolyte
Acolyte
of
of
Pain.
Pain. Warbot is a new addition. Jeeves, not only does it give you the extra card draw for an aggressive deck, it also synergizes with Hobgoblin. Coming to
Stone Tuskboar,
a Hearthstone ladder game near
Goldshire
you.
Footman. You're gonna novice engineer and draw a card. Cool. Well, you know, and in the meantime, I think I'm gonna take the advice from Darkwonyx on deck building here. I think Game 4 is about to begin. He's up 2-1. Can he close it out and punch his ticket to the semifinals to play Zolay? We'll find out in just a second here. Priest versus Warlock. Let's do this.
Okay.
All right, so now Kibler's like, okay, well, he's got Fell Cannon. He's got Baron Geddon. He's got Implosions. Maybe I'll be able to handle this. As right now I think we're waiting to get an invite on Kibler's POV. And Darkwonyx is the one we're on at the moment.
Well, we didn't see the Molten Giants in the last time, but I'm sure he's running them. Judging based off the other cards, I guess Antique Healbot doesn't really scream Molten Giant. I guess it's pretty good in Warlock in general, or in like a control-y Warlock in general. And there we go. We've been enlightened.
Okay, so Darkwonyx is just going to tap here. I guess he was just waiting for us to catch up, so thankfully he was able to help us. Hand for Brian Kibler feels pretty pedestrian. There's just nothing too spectacular about it. Another Red Power Shield's pretty nice.
Let's make a huge Northshire Cleric.
I mean, it helps draw cards, which is effective. If he picks up the injured Blade Master next turn, that's massive draws.
It is, yeah.
And now it's not as simple as challenging this Northshire Cleric with a Farseer.
No, because you're over the course of 3 turns, the Northshire Cleric's actually going to trade.
Right.
Even better.
There's a very realistic possibility that this Northshire Cleric doesn't die for a very long time.
Or, yeah.
Fell Cannon.
Oh,
What?
yes.
Just shoot anything, doesn't really matter. Well, Fell Cannon deals 2 damage to a non-mech minion, right? It can even damage your own minions.
Yes, it can. Unless it's a mech.
I mean, Kibler's like, cool story, bro.
Oh, hello.
Alright, well, I think the wheels might be coming off on this one for Darkwonyx.
Oh my
Looks like
goodness.
Kibler's going to draw a lot of cards here.
You could draw 6 cards.
I think we're okay with 4. In fact, he can draw 8 cards if he really wanted to min-max this. But, I think 4 cards is okay,
Yeah.
right?
Is it?
Yeah. Because you'd still have almost a full hand.
That's true. You'd be burning a card if you went full Northshire.
Right.
Burning a couple cards.
Also, your opponent might be able to make you burn more with Farseer.
Yeah.
Which is funny enough. I wonder what purpose Fell Cannon generally has, besides surprising your opponent and killing their Shade of Naxxramas.
That was like best case scenario. Play Fell Cannon into a Shade of Naxxramas. Maybe Darkwonyx put it in as an anti-druid tech. I guess, I mean, it's a 3/5 that still has an additional effect. It's something to do on that turn.
I mean,
Faceless the Fell Cannon.
Well, you're gonna face, if anything, you face is the Injured Blade,
Injured Blade Master, yeah.
because it's a problematic card to deal with.
Yep.
I feel like there's an opportunity to Hellfire and Mortal Coil here too. I think that's what he's looking to do as well. Like, he needs to actually deny his opponent from, like, running away with the game draw-wise. And if this snipes
The Dark Cultist.
it'll be like okay, because
Yeah.
he can still Siphon Soul the Injured Blade Master.
And you get a lot of value out of that Fel Cannon. Makes it pretty good.
Well, Darkwonyx committed to this play, so he's got to go for it.
But it is interesting to think about like what interactions that Fel Cannon could have in other matchups. Like, when else could it be good? I mean, it could be good to clean up.
I can know what it's not good against. It's not good against the Mage, because it doesn't deal damage to anything.
Yeah. It can clean off a stray Clockwork Gnome.
Oh! So that's an opportunity for Kibler, Kibler gets some health, but Darkwonyx can kill it off with Siphon Soul next turn too. Oh, he's got a second Injured Blade Master, so in his opinion, he thinks it's a good spot because he can buff it up more.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. I mean, he's got full clear, and he's got 2 more cards being drawn.
2 4/7s on the board. These can be really tough to deal with.
Until Twisting Nether! What if
Oh,
that
that's
comes
so
into
true.
play?
That's so true. That could be a complete game changer, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Siphon Soul feels pretty good here, though. You're not too worried about that. You're not really threatened. Priest isn't going to burst you down ever.
Light Bomb, I feel like, is one of the ways Kibler can seal this game. If his opposition ever gets too crazy.
It's almost like a situationally better Twisted Nether.
Time to dig! Ah, those are 2 cards where he was like, meh.
Yeah. Imagine if he had gotten Twisting Nether. Demon Heart.
I mean, it's a 5 damage nuke at this point.
True, but a 5 damage nuke doesn't really do him much right now.
2 Power Overwhelmings. This deck is really unique. I mean, I can't even begin to emphasize that. It's
Arcane
because
Golem, double Power Overwhelming, Faceless Manipulators,
Right.
24 damage.
you have wombo combos. That was something that I played around with in Handlock when Leroy first got nerfed, but it felt inconsistent. Like, a lot of times the Power Overwhelmings weren't that strong.
Yeah. I feel like you never find yourself in a situation like that where you just can have like double Power Overwhelming, Faceless, and Arcane Golem in your
Right.
hand while still being able to have answers to everything without having to use them
Right.
in other situations as like removal tools.
I think we need to see a Twisting Nether here. Off the top.
I think we do.
Just rip it.
Right on turn 8.
Yeah.
Fits the curve so nicely.
Kibler won't overdraw, I think. He's got 8 cards in hand, so this will only draw 1. Mortal Coil won't get any closer, like won't allow him to... It won't allow him to play Twisting Nether even if he drew it.
Dude, he's actually getting pretty low.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure being applied.
I'm not
This
sure.
deck seems pretty hard to play, too.
Very hard.
It seems like there's a lot of ways you can easily mess up.
And there's a lot of complex decisions that you have to make. Because it's not standard ways to clear. I mean, Handlock has been around for so long that pretty much a lot of people that pay attention know all the efficient ways to remove, but this deck just seems
What?
so... I think Darkwonyx is like, what now?
Ideally, he'd like to get this Mistress of Pain and start healing up with Demon Heart. Because what happens is Mistress of Pain will attack for like 5 damage or 6 damage, and then start healing you for 6.
Yep.
I think he's worried about dying. There's 7, 8 damage on board. Very realistic possibility he might die.
Especially with a Blood Mage.
Right.
Like he's seen Holy Smite. So he could be afraid.
I think he might be dead.
Why do you call?
Holy Nova is 3 damage, 10, 11, yeah, Holy Smite. So this game's ended really quickly.
Wow.
So second time around, Brian Kibler's like, okay, cool. I got like a really strong start. Darkwonyx didn't get the cards he needed to stabilize early on. And, I mean, Kibler had 2 injured Blade Masters with 2 Circle of Healings to put on lots of pressure, and he also had Light Bomb to back it up. So that was more representative of how I imagined the Warlock deck actually working.
Yeah.
But still, it's only 1 and 1. So, like, there's still room for... I mean, there's still room for this deck to shine.
Yeah, the Fel Cannon was fantastic when, like you said, you could just play it into a Shaden X Rammus and just kill it out instantly. But a little bit underwhelming when...
it still did some work.
It did some work, but you think about what else could have been in that spot. Like in a standard handlock deck, that would have been a Twilight Drake.
This is not handlock, though.
Well...
Instead of a Fel Cannon, you could have had, like, Floating Watcher.
Yeah, but what I'm
Or
saying
Void
is
Caller.
that if he had brought a different Warlock deck, then it probably would have been handlock. And then in that situation, that would have been a Twilight Drake instead of a Fel Cannon. So, you just little things to think about. But still, it's Brian Kibler had a fantastic start, had a fantastic opening hand. So, it's not surprised that it fell flat on its face in that game.
Well, I think it's because it's not perfect yet. As you can tell, there's some kinks that you have to work it out. By no means is it perfection.
Oh, yeah.
But it's hilarious. That's what I love about this deck.
Well, you think about it, Twisted Nether off the top on that turn 8, or if he had that in his hand
Yeah,
at
if
all,
you just ripped it,
would have been a complete game changer. Would have turned the game around. So
I think so. Well, here we go. Going into game number 5, seeing what's going to happen. It's once again the same matchup. Again, the blind pick phase, you're allowed to pick any deck, win or lose, from previous, because you have full information of what your opponent's going to bring. And a lot of times players just pick based off of what they feel is best. So this is something that I like about the format, because if Darkwonyx lost with this deck in the very beginning, in normal last hero standing rules, you wouldn't be able to see it again.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh well, he was a cool deck, didn't work out, whatever. But now it's like we get to see it 3 times.
it's going to be
And
tested.
I think we'll have a pretty good idea of what it can and can't do by the end of this.
Yep. And everything's on the line right now for these guys. Tied up 2-2. Winner moves on, and of course, with week 5 and on, getting to that semifinal round, get you invited back to the next week. So, a lot of potential for these guys to make it to that $20,000 land final, and doing it off the, I guess we'll call them their signature decks of the day. Brian Kibler going with that Priest, and Darkwonyx bringing out the unique Warlock. See if he can make it work this time around.
What does he even want in his opening hand?
I don't know. I don't even know. What early drops does he even have? Mortal Coil's not that great against Priest.
I think you want some kind of early board presence of some sort. So like Mistress of Pain probably wouldn't be bad. Farseer is pretty good. I think you want your Sludge Belchers.
Job's done.
Oh, you actually threw away Sludge Belcher, huh?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just theorizing here. I think Fel Cannon's opening hand wouldn't be bad either.
Dark Bomb's decent.
He does have Dark Bomb. Like, what does this deck not have?
He's got 40 cards. Seems
Somehow,
like it.
yeah. It's like he even still fit in double power, overwhelming, and faceless. It's
Yeah.
like, and this start isn't the start that Kibler wanted compared to the previous game.
Maybe he just doesn't have Molten Giants.
I don't think so. I don't think he has Molten Giants.
Okay.
It's just, it'd be cool if he did, because then it's like Molten Giants.
What about Void Callers?
No, I don't know if he has Mal'Ganis in his deck.
There's no we haven't seen Mal'Ganis, no Draxus, no Void Callers, no Doom Guards.
Dark Bomb.
Dark
Yeah.
Bomb trade in.
Sure, it's better than using your power overwhelming. Next turn you can coin out your Sludge Belcher, and then Kibler in the meantime just draws his second Dark Cultist. Pretty good.
Pretty good indeed.
Stand ready.
Yeah, this deck, it seems like the primary win condition is Arcane Golems.
Seems like its primary win condition is Confusion. Oh wow, another good roll. I mean, it's a 67% chance it works out, but sometimes it just doesn't. We've all been there before.
Yeah.
Implosion hits for 2, Crackle hits for 3.
That's the game you play when you play those cards. We can make a giant imp here. Or he can just challenge us with the his own Sludge Belcher.
Demon Heart here would be interesting. It kills off, it challenges the board pretty effectively. Dang, 6/6. Something that you don't expect at all.
No. No.
And like, as Kibler, you're like, well, you know, I wasn't really thinking about it, but yeah, sure.
Oh, what's this gonna buff? Probably not the target he wanted that to buff, but
It's fine. As long as it's not the... Well, I like, it's as long as it's okay that it doesn't get picked up by Mortal Coil. That's
Yeah.
effectively it.
that's actually, yeah, that's a good point. Well, it seems like this deck finds itself in awkward spots like this, where
Yeah, I usually think Mistress of Pain is the one that combos with Demon Heart, but
it seems like an ideal scenario.
I think Darkwonyx wants to keep the coin for possible combos,
So many possibilities.
but I think coining out Sludge Belcher might be his best bet here. Okay, Mistress of Pain doesn't do much; it just dies.
It's just getting eaten up by the
Yeah,
Cabal Shadow Priest.
it's like a worse Armor Smith. If it just died, oh, I guess it's about the same.
Yeah. Be great with Hobgoblin.
At the same time, Kibler's hand is not exactly the most appealing. Thought Steal. Pulls a Twisting Nether!
Look at his face.
That is such valuable information to Kibler.
Wow.
He's like, wow!
And Darkwonyx had to be looking at his face right there, because they are on a Skype call with each other. They can see each other's faces. So as soon as you see that Thought Steal, you gotta look over at your opponent's face, try and gauge their reaction. And Kibler was definitely surprised.
No clue what Kibler must have been thinking at that moment, other than WTF, mate.
His face.
You what, mate?
He's still a little bit surprised, but yeah, valuable information because you can play around it.
Can you?
No, well, you sort of can.
I guess you can. You just have to stop loading the board too much.
Just think about it like a brawl, I guess.
What's really funny is like that's like his second light bomb, right? He has a Twisting Nether.
Yeah, he's got two ways to
To clear the board.
just about completely remove the board.
He takes the Twisting Nether. That's hilarious. I think that might give Kibler the edge here, because no matter how big the board gets, seems like eventually Darkwonyx will get stopped. Ooh, that was a really good draw. Tapping into the Thanos allows his Dark Bomb to reach for a little bit more damage.
Yes, it does.
Cabal Shadow Priest already has been used.
It seems like this deck might lack a little bit of damage outside of the combo. This Warlock deck.
Well, Priest's a good deck at handling damage too.
Yeah.
Oh, great draw from Kibler. Really good draw. So now he can take this card away from Darkwonyx. He takes the Blood Mage Thanos and then gets the trade in.
That's pretty.
Although I guess the nice thing is Darkwonyx gets to heal.
I'm not even sure if that matters at this point.
No, it really doesn't. It's just one of those things. It's like, well.
Oh, well, there's a little bright side to this terrible situation. Yeah, I think Brian Kibler's in a pretty fantastic spot right now. Even the Power Overwhelming can come in handy, especially with the board that he has right now. He could turn one of these creatures that otherwise wouldn't be that useful. Especially against like a Sludge Belcher, that'd be pretty nice.
Fell Cannon. He wants to shoot down this 1/2 because it's blocking the way of his combo. Here we go.
But he needs to be able to put some damage on before this combo is even useful. I mean, it's a 24 damage combo, but
Right, and I mean he's got some minions in there. It's not like he can't do any damage beforehand.
that's true.
He's also got Hellfire. He's also got like Alex Straza.
Oh, Alex Straza, that's correct. So that's what it is. He basically just tries to control the board as best as possible and go for a combo.
Power Overwhelming the Imp. Pretty nasty. I mean, that's exactly what Darkwonyx was like hoping he wouldn't have.
This deck kind of reminds me of like Control Warrior.
It feels like it, yeah. It's got its own list of legendaries to control the board.
It's got like Mistress of Pain to be a little bit of ways to gain health. Anti-heal bot is sort of like the shield maiden.
Sure.
Twisting Nether's the brawl. And then the
It's a pretty good observation, man. I think you're not too far off the mark with that one. Now, what's funny is like I'm pretty sure Darkwonyx's like, yes, I have Twisting Nether, and Kibler's like, well, I think I better play around Twisting Nether. Not like he has much of a choice. He only has a few minions on board.
And he realizes at this point that he's not going to win the game. He's just going to win the game by just sort of outlasting.
What makes Twisting Nether really interesting is that you can Twisting Nether and then Alexstrasza, so that way, no matter what, like your Alexstrasza will be able to face maybe 2 minions or 3 minions at most. And then
it sets you up for your combo, yeah. That's pretty cool. It's like a simple but effective way of winning games.
Faceless comes in hand, so the combo's assembled. That's 24 damage. That Akanai Soul Priest definitely trolling Darkwonyx at this point. It's like, just because it's slightly out of health range.
Double Hellfire. If he doesn't heal up, he wins next turn. Wait. Okay, never mind. If he could find a way to keep the Akanai alive while still doing 3 more damage this turn.
Well, then just play Sludge Belcher. Right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
If you just
Hellfire Sludge Belcher here, you set up for lethal next turn. Unless he has a way to deal with it.
Okay, well he's got Hellfire here. Does he? I don't know. I guess I'm not the one who like knows how to play this deck, man. I'm not gonna be like, oh, Darkwonyx, you have to do this.
I kind of
really
like
thinking about double Hellfire.
I kind of liked the Hellfire Sledge Belcher play though. It effectively works the same way. Just it's not even riskier. It's just your Sledge Belcher might get like stolen or
He's got lethal next turn. That's so funny.
That's crazy.
I mean, he's gonna heal himself. There's just no ways about it.
Yeah.
And then you like play Sludge Belcher, and unless he like kills it or mind controls, you just kill him.
Well, he'd be out of range in 2 turns.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
So that's why I like the Sludge Belcher last turn, because he would have killed him right now.
Alexstrasza's a great draw.
Ho ho!
That puts him within very much killing range the following turn.
Wow. I don't know what Kibler's going to be able to do to stop this. Because Alexstrasza's going to almost definitely come out next turn.
Well, assuming he doesn't kill him straight up.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. So let's see, what can he do here?
I mean, Darkwonyx has tapped so deep into his deck that there has to be a combo. I think Kibler has to be suspicious. Did he see the Arcane Golem in the previous game?
No, he didn't.
No, right? It was Power Overwhelming.
He didn't see Faceless either. He saw Power Overwhelming and Demon Heart.
So, like, Darkwonyx did such a good job concealing this that I think Kibler might just die.
I think it's very likely. Because what can he play here? I don't think there's anything that he can play here that's going to win him. Twisting Nether?
I don't know.
Twisting Nether would keep him alive.
I don't know if it's about Twisting Nether. I think it's I don't know. I don't know if there's merit to light bombing or anything. I mean, you do have Twisting Nether too, so maybe you can part ways with light bomb. He needs to move quick too, like otherwise he's dead. His best bet is actually to Akanai clear with Circle of Healing and shoot down the remaining minion. He's running out of time too. The animation's starting to pick up here. Okay, so he heals up. It's the right choice. Keeps him alive barely. Like I don't know. I think Kibler might be onto this a little bit. Like why would you play so cautious like this? I don't know how he can stop this either.
He can't. He's got 24 damage coming out. Oh, well, stealing the sledge would do it because that blocks. Well, no, because then he'd have to take the Alexstrasza too.
He needs to kill off Alexstrasza. That's it.
He's dead.
Kibler is dead, and
Wow.
Darkwonyx will get a full wombo combo off. Now he doesn't have to show it, but I'm pretty sure the world knows what he's up to by now.
I think he does have to show it.
And that means that Darkwonyx will move on to the semifinals.
Kibler's like, well, okay, you win. There's nothing I can do about that. He conceals the second Power Overwhelming, so that's pretty good. He He at least keeps a little part of his deck secret, but Darkwonyx going to move on, and I don't think Kibler can be too upset about that.
Well, I mean, you are to a certain extent, because in the back of your mind, you're like, I shouldn't lose to this. It's like, this deck's not fleshed out. It's completely new. It's like, in a way, it's like, you're just like, okay, well, I'm playing the more refined decks, and I'm the one getting dumped on at this point. Because it's like I don't know how to do, and so I don't know what I'm playing around. He tried to make some really good moves, but Alex Strauza really was a nail in the coffin there, even for a healing class. And I thought Kibler played pretty well,
It's
considering
like
the circumstances.
What could he have done to block that combo out? He would have need to.
He would have needed to draw Shadow Word Death and then stole the 1/2.
Yeah, and then that would have kept him alive. But even then, there was still a possibility that there was so many turns that he needed to heal up out of that combo range. Just really tough. Well played by Darkwonyx.
Well played by Darkwonyx, and well, looks like he's going to move on into the bracket. I thought Kibler had played an excellent series as well. Really fun stuff. And that marks us halfway through the quarterfinals, which is pretty. We're pretty deep into the day already. It's like 3-4 hours already.
Indeed.
But I hope you guys are having fun. I know we certainly are. And I know also the people that help make this possible are having fun too at Newegg. Make sure to check out all their cool stuff at esl.gg/Newegg Esports for Crucial, Western Digital, and Cooler Master. We're going to take a few minutes to get ready for our third match that you saw on your screen. It'll be coming up in just a few minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.